Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Attained Consciousness channel and Our Daily Truth. Today is May 21st, 2023. Normally I post these a few days later. I'll make a video in advance when it feels right, it comes to me. And so if it comes out on the 23rd or whatever, don't worry, you have the right date. Today's read will be about the longing of the soul and alcohol, by the way, and alcohol. Very interesting. Okay, we're going to get right to it. As always, we like to keep it short. Great unrest comes from a lack of holiness. We seem to be divided into fractions and sections. We give one part of our minds to one thing and another part of our mind to another. And always within us is a longing for something higher, and unrest because we are not satisfied with the life as it seems to us. The psalmist conceived the right idea of life in its fullness and completeness when he said, "I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness." I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. The consciousness, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness. That likeness now slumbers in us as the seed in the earth. It is the something that is always urging us to do better things. It is that within us. It is that is within us, urging us to do better things, which wants something more than the outside activities of life. We shall never be satisfied until we find ourselves, our souls, ourselves. It is this restlessness that accounts for all the error we find in the outer world, in the world of man, carnal man, not in the spiritual world. Our restlessness represents a power that is crying out to be expressed. It may take the form of appetite, overindulgence of food, or of ambition, overly ambitious. But rightly directed, it will be a wonderful something within us that will transcend all the desires of our outer senses. When our powers are placed aright, we shall direct our aspirations and ambitions toward God. We shall know that we can be satisfied with nothing that earth can give us. It's so true. Just think what the Christ life will mean to us when we let it take charge of our consciousness. We let it take charge of our consciousness, not our human little pea brain. We do not have to stimulate our senses to bring us anything. It is already ours. So let us see whether we cannot really find out what our souls are longing for. We condemn men for drinking. We condemn men for drinking liquor, but we should not do so. The drinker has a great longing to do something. He does not want to follow the common walks of life. He wants to follow the higher ways. Not understanding this urge within himself, he thinks that he can satisfy it with sense. So he takes something stimulating. We are never satisfied through sense. It enslaves us more and more. Same thing with marijuana or pills or food. These are drugs that we can abuse. It's not just alcohol. Okay, we're never satisfied through sense. It enslaves us more and more. Aspiration is the soul's trying to find its wings. It's the soul's, oh wow, that is so cool. Wow. To find its wings. Those who give way to appetite, who drink liquor, or who take drugs, are hungering and thirsting for righteousness. Remember the Christ's words of light and blessing. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. In most cases, an individual who drinks too much is an unusual soul, a soul who has developed too much of the faculties and powers until he is very sensitive. Let me repeat that because I read it wrong. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. In most cases, an individual who drinks too much is an unusual soul, a soul who has developed some of his faculties and powers until he is very sensitive. He longs for the perfect balance to enable him to express rightly these powers that he feels he does not know or how to express. First of all, drop out of your mind the idea that a bad habit is a terrible thing. When you think of it as a terrible and powerful thing, you keep giving it as much more power than you allow the Christ. You see, you're giving it more and more power if it's a terrible thing. If it's terrible, it has a lot of power over you. Don't give it the power. It's just like disease, sickness. Don't give it power. Go to the higher. The drink craving habit is not a moral shortcoming. It is a crying out of some of the tissue masses of the body in an effort of the body to meet the needs of the soul for satisfying mental and physical food. Sometimes we fail to know the needs of growing children or of grown-ups, and these persons go on year after year, failing to meet the demands of cell tissues. Their bodies are hungry, starved, and often filled with substances they cannot use. Sometimes they are inflamed by the frequent eating of foods, highly seasoned, or foods otherwise unsuited for the body's needs. Hence, obesity epidemic and diabetes. Sometimes people grow up with habits of eating certain kinds of foods that are easy to get and taste good, but still have not the vital life elements in them that are required by the blood and the nerves. Those who feel free to indulge in some sort of stimulant sometimes becomes victims of bad habits. Others hold out against this, but their health is broken and they turn to medicine. Who only knows what's in the medicines today? You know, the pharmaceuticals are not in the business of healing. They're in the business of treatment. There's revenues involved. If everybody was healed immediately, they'd be out of business. Others will get their alcohol, its effects, through foods which are considered harmless, but which contain the same constituent elements as alcohol. In dealing with these, we reach the individual by instructing him as to the truth of his being. Then we hold him in this consciousness, seek to show him how he has unknowingly made unwise use of his life and the substance which is provided for his nourishment. A belief in some sort of repression and lack, the consequent sense of lack of life, cause a soul hungering and also a physical hungering for food. Intemperate eating is accompanied by a craving for stimulants. Those who prepare and serve meals without knowledge of the body's real needs are often the outer cause of development of the drinking habit. A strong desire for a fuller realization of life sometimes leads to the use of stimulants. When someone who is near to the drinker comes to his sense and looks Godward, the way to freedom and wholeness and real satisfaction is revealed. There's a little more here, all right? So the first step in healing another's physical weakness and tendency to drunkenness is to give up all grief and worry and to withdraw all condemnation and censure. For the liquor, for those who serve it, for the individual who takes it, let the same divine love of God, which is in Christ described in his story of the prodigal son, fill the mind and the heart and the flow all to who are concerned. When we love and pour out the subtle love essence which stirs the heart center, we are moving to action. The life energies of being and a great law of mind equilibrium is fulfilled. We need to help these children of God to know how to center their love upon him and his qualities in themselves and those about them. We have not known how to help our children to recognize and unfold the fulfillment of their God-given resources and faculties and powers. When they come to us, they are in bundles of receptivity and undeveloped faculties and desires. They absorb almost anything we hand out to them, even things we are not aware of impressing them with. Then we are dismayed when their efforts are unwisely directed. So let us go to the source of all help. So let us go to the source of all help, all life, all supply, and all opportunity, and build up the consciousness of health and plenty instead of struggling in an outer way. Let us go within and build a foundation for real success and prosperity and satisfaction. Use affirmations similar to the following for the purpose of setting your mind in order and setting into action the thought causes which will bring the desired results. Okay? Now this is good. I too will arise and go to my Father and receive his love and wisdom, and receive his love and wisdom. In blessing, I now behold his kingdom, his riches, and his unfailing life pouring through me and manifesting for all my needs. How about that? I know that was a lot, and I try to read through it fast. I always highly recommend going back and replaying it. People, please take this with you in your sleep, in your day, into a meditation. And usually what I don't do on the video is I do 5, 10, 15 second connection with the source, with God, prior to the video and after. And this is how we do it. We sit. And we empty the mind. It doesn't have to be for an hour, it doesn't have to be for 20 minutes. If you do this 3, 4, 5, 10 times a day for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, what is meditation? Well, the mind is thinking, right? And in between each thought is a pause, right? Expand on that pause. That is true meditation. That's communion with God. That's yoga. You will receive silent impartations. Thank you very much. God bless you all, and we'll see you soon.